Hey, good morning, Broncos. Good morning. How are you all today? Great. So we have an exciting morning for you all this morning. I want you to really think about your questions. I know that I'm not sure if you all knew this was happening today. Did you know this? No. So it's a nice surprise, right? Kenwood is full of nice surprises. So we have amazing guests here to talk to you about their journey. And I don't know if any of you all are interested in going into the careers that either our mayor or Mr. Epps have gone into, but it's an opportunity for you to kind of dig into it and think about some questions that you will not have an opportunity to ask someone who's in this line of work. So I'm excited about it. I hope you all sit back and enjoy. And we have great moderators here who are going to assist with some of the questions. I want to thank Ms. Ball, my assistant principal, who really has been working with the mayor's office to plan this out. And I'm going to stop talking. Oh, I want to acknowledge our Alderman Lamont Robinson. He, as well as the mayor's office, has helped us with everything that we are doing in this school. So I want you to know who's helping us get that payaway together. We're doing some renovations on the swimming pool. You know, we're doing the weight room, dance studio. We just got a new baseball field. These are the people who have really supported us in building what I like to see, a neighborhood, a mega neighborhood high school. Mega, largest high school, neighborhood high school. That's the goal we're going for in the Midwest, okay? So I just wanted to introduce those people today, but I'm going to turn it over and stop talking because you hear me all the time. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to start this one off with a temperature check. Mayor Johnson, you answered this question on the podcast earlier. You know what I'm about to ask. You chose Uncle Remus. So, Mike Epps, I have a question for you. Harold or Uncle Remus?
I guess I'm gonna go with Uncle Remus, man.
Yes, there we go.
The only reason why I'm gonna go with Uncle Remus is because my wife is from the West Side.
West Side.
But I
All
do
three
like
of us
Harold's. I do love
Well, which one though?
I like the one that give you more fish than crust. More chicken than crust.
Okay. I appreciate you. But I got another question. So I'm sure some people in this room may be wondering, but how did you two become friends? What brought y'all together? And why did y'all choose to come to Kenwood?
Well, you know what? I would say that me and him were friends before we were friends because with his success and my success, just on sight, instantly, we just had a respect for each other, you know, and I didn't know because I don't do my homework all the time. Sometimes I'm so busy and flustered that I didn't know that you guys had a black mayor until I met him, and I was like, wow. Because it didn't match up in my head, like Chicago, black mayor, and then he came to my show, and it was, you know, it's been instant ever since, you know.
Yeah, thank you for that. So many of you may not know, besides Mr. Epps, entertainment world, he's just down the street in Indianapolis, just a few hours away. And what drew me to Mike Epps was the fact that he understood his responsibility to the community that raised him. And so he is, doing economic development in Indianapolis, repurposing and redeveloping homes, the neighborhood that raised him. And so it's not just about giving back, it's about him establishing long-term generational wealth for his community. And he has expressed a desire to do that around the country. So it's his love for community, him using his talent to extend well beyond just the stage. So mad respect for you, and we're very proud of the work that you're doing.
Okay, I said that was a pretty good opener. So let's get into some nitty-gritty stuff. You both come from communities where it's pretty hard to climb up that ladder of success. Specifically Indianapolis and Chicago, it couldn't have been easy growing up here. Mike, you mentioned that comedy saved you. So, what specifically from your childhood sharpened your sense of humor and your career?
Well, I always call the ghetto, I always call the inner city the jungle, It's a jungle for us. And, throughout the jungle, you have many, many characters. There's a lot of stumbling blocks. But one thing I always understood, that these places make champions, and unfortunately, they also break champions. And if you can figure out a way to take your trauma and take the things that have been hurdles for you, and make it an advantage for you, it's a guarantee you're gonna win in life. Because it's not easy for none of us. Just being a human being, just being black, it's hard. Being young is very, very hard. We know how the state of the world. We have so many temptations. We have so many things thrown at us. And we just have to always recognize all of our blessings and the things that you have that somebody might not have, and the things that we take for granted, So I've always figured out a way to turn whatever situation that was not good for me, I always put it with my future. I always looked at it as, I said, man, this is a boulder that's being thrown at me, but it ain't to crush me. It's just, every time the boulder hit me, it's just molding me into being a great person.
I think to Mike's point about just the challenges and adversity, using those challenges and that adversity to strengthen you, right? I mean, these opportunities that come before us today have not always been plentiful, right? And so I think, growing up in the late 1900s, it's 1976, shout out to Generation X. It's like, and thank you, it's a very, very small fan club. But we are the last obedient generation on the planet, by the way. Because this generation here, right? Y'all doing your thing. I ain't mad at you. It's just, it's real talk though, Mike. Like this generation, they go to work on Monday, they want to get paid on Friday, and then they want a mental health day on that following Monday. You know what I'm saying? My father retired with like 400 sick days. He was proud of it. Growing up speaking of my father worked a couple of jobs. There was 10 of us, I'm a middle child. And, I know what it's like to open a refrigerator. There's no food in it. Orange extension cords from one window to the other. That's what kept the electricity on. And, I looked at those challenges and saw them as ways to not break me, but to make me. And so I took those challenges into my life to make sure that in whatever I did, that I could make life better for someone else. And one thing led to another, from teaching, to organizing, to a county commissioner, and now running one of the largest economies in the world.
And so to pivot off of what you were talking about earlier about the Generation X being the last obedient generation, what are your opinions on what our generation does well as a youth and things that we could do better? And so in my personal opinion, I feel like our generation does well with the information that we're given, especially considering we have a heightened access to information with the phones that we have. But I also believe we are incredibly stubborn because we feel like we know everything and we have that much access to information. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, you sound like you know my son. Love you, Owen. So I was going to actually say that as a positive. You all do not take no or accept no as the final answer. Right. Which I have respect for. I still flinch when I walk into a room with my father. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, you all do not see no as oppositional. You see it as an opportunity to figure out how to get to a yes. So there is, some obstinance or, a little bit of honorary there, but, I think it does require you all to be a little more nimble and flexible in your paradigm and your thinking, because there are people in the room who have experienced some of the things, or if not many of the things that you're dealing with, that can actually help shape your presentation so that you don't make the same mistakes that generations before have made. But I actually think one of the strongest advantages that you all do have, which is a challenge, you have access to 24/7 information, right? I mean, you all have tools that will help you think. When we grew up, we just had to ask our big brother or uncle, and that was not the most reliable information. So I think it's using the technology and the information that's available to you to help sharpen your thinking, but also do not be afraid to ask more questions to come to stronger conclusions based upon individuals who have lived experience and not something that's hypothetical in sort of the AI world. Yeah. Mike, what you think? What they do with
I agree. Well, you said it, man. One thing I like about you guys got heart. Y'all got heart, man. The youth nowadays, you guys have heart. Back in the day, we had to think about what we were gonna do and second guess ourselves. You guys just go for it. So that's one of the great things I like about you guys. And like the mayor said, man, you got access to things to help you become great. That we didn't have, and we only tell you that we didn't have it so that you can appreciate it. We're not telling you that like wham, but and use it. You use everything that they have. Don't forget about your natural instinct in life. Before you hear AI, you have your own AI. It's your own conscious, which is always 100% right. Listen to your inner voice. Listen to what you say to yourself before you make any decisions. I think that's very, very vital for youngsters to do. Is to listen to themselves and take your time, and be patient. It's so powerful to be patient because there's a reward at the end of being patient. It's really not a reward for rushing. You can hurt yourself, you can make the bad decisions, but if you sit still and give things time, it'll come to you.
To you guys' point on patience, I know for your respective careers, there was many pressures you faced, like getting to your positions right now. Lots of Kenwood students want to have leader positions once they go into their post-secondary fields, like college or trade or whatever that might be. So what was the hardest battle you had facing with your leadership position?
Wow, we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. I mean, when you're mayor, there's potential threat and challenges that are just abound. But I would say just even before I got here, so I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college. My older brother was not able to finish. Unfortunately, my older brother had untreated trauma and died addicted and unhoused. And that was really hard for all of us. I would say even especially hard for my father, who had a tough time dealing with the fact that, he had a son, actually a couple of sons that really struggled through life, even though he tried his best to provide as much as he possibly could for us. I think the challenge is really just overcoming insecurity. So it's one thing that I would say to you all, you belong, you were designed to live out the perfect purpose that God ordained for you. And no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, there's something inside of you that tingles your heart, that's driving your purpose. And if you can follow that and be okay with leaning into that, not so much no matter what the adversity is, but in spite of the adversity, you can overcome it. And once you can battle through those own insecurities and doubts that you might have about yourself, there's nothing that can stop you. Your biggest challenge will always be the doubt that's inside of you, and if you can overcome that, there's no mountain too high that you can't climb or get over. Yeah, Mike had it rough. He had it worse than me. So.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. But you know the thing about that is, I think everybody, everybody has a story. Some are a little rougher than others, but everybody has their journey. Again, man, dreaming is incredible, man. It really is. You can take your mind in many, many places, and that's why I was saying in the other room about I've been delusional my whole life. I really have. I hear people tease people about, oh, she's delusional. I have been delusional my whole life, and it has credited me, because when people thought I was crazy, I was really, really dreaming about stuff that looked impossible to other people. Like I'm dreaming about Chicago being the old Chicago again one day, and without all the killing and fighting and stuff. Believe it or not, you kids are too young, but it was, well, Chicago always been rough, but yeah, but it's been, it's beauty in this place too, That's what I was just telling them. It's a bunch of different stories about this city, about all these cities, man. You got good and bad everywhere you go and anything you do, and man, if I could go back and change anything, I wouldn't change nothing. And man, I've been through some stuff, I've been trying to, I'm 50 years old, y'all, and I'm still trying to find myself. I'm still trying to figure out who I am at 50. So don't you feel any kind of way. You look at a 50-year-old man that still has insecurities, still unsure of myself. But I keep going. I just keep going, because I have a lot of responsibilities. I'm responsible for you guys. I'm responsible for my own kids. I'm responsible for myself. And I love the challenge. It's making the wheels turn. I love that part of life, is that I'm still trying to figure it out. And I might not never figure it out. I guess God gonna be working with us until the end. That's why I always tell people, they say, oh man, you made it. I say, you never make it. Nobody never makes it, because we're all searching. We're all gonna learn until we get older. And you guys are doing a great job. We're not sitting in the Cook County prison facility talking to each other. We're not sitting in a morgue talking to each other. We're sitting in a school. Everybody looks good. You got your health. You're strong. And I think you guys already made it. Just to sit here with a black man that's a mayor, that means everything to me. I'm serious, Mr. Brandon. That means a lot, brother. The accomplishments that you made, I don't care what they say about you, how they feel about you, you won, man. You know what I mean? You won.
You didn't want to fist bump me with that big ring? What's that?
I got this out the liquor store. On the kiosk, the little thing to turn. I said, give me that one right there. I wear a little junk jewelry now. I grew up poor on food stamps. I want a couple nice things now,
But so great joke, by the way. But so Mike, this is a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you know you wanted to be a comedian?
I didn't know I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be everything. I remember that. I remember when I was a kid, I started off wanting to be a cop. Because when we were kids, we used to play, cops and robbers. And I never wanted to be the robber. You know what I mean? I had friends that wanted to be the robber and they became the robber. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful of what you want to be as a kid. But I always been funny, man. I always made people laugh, and I'll never forget when a teacher told me one time, Miss Cummins, rest in peace, she said, sit down. You're not getting paid to do this. And now I'm getting paid to do it. So people looked at my talent as being disruptive. They didn't say, oh, he's going to be a comedian. They said, oh, he's going to jail because I'll make people laugh. You know, that's what people think because you're disruptive in the class, but I was really a comedian. I really enjoyed telling jokes. And when I really knew what I wanted to do is when I could figure out what I could walk up to girls and people and say, and they laugh. And I used to have it in my head. I said, okay, I'm gonna say that. And I say it and they laugh and I walk away. I'm like, oh man, I'm on to something. But I didn't know that I could be a comedian. I was just running around trying jokes on people. So, every one of you guys' purpose that you're living, it's already there. You just have to pay attention to yourself. A little bit more. And maybe sometimes the things that you really want to be is not what you want. I wanted to play, like every kid, I wanted to be in the NBA. And I used to come home to my mother and lie and just show you how mothers, they know their kids are lying and listen to them. I used to tell my mom, I said, Mama, the NBA was at the school looking at me today. She said, they what? I said, yeah. They really want me now, but I'm in the 7th grade. My mama know I was lying. But again, that was me just dreaming about something that, I'm not in the NBA, but, I got some NBA friends now. I got to look close to it.
Well, I think it's important too, and I don't, mean to just, take his story, but I think sometimes we forget that this brother's an actor as well. He's not just on the stage making people laugh, which is, I think, one of the hardest professions that exists. But a Netflix series, I think there was 6 seasons, with the Netflix series that he was a part of, which is likely one of the longest standing sitcoms in America's history. That's who's in front of you all today. Not just a stand-up comedian, but someone who's worked with Wanda Sykes, some of the best comedians and actresses and actors in the world, is right here on the south side of Chicago at Kenwood Academy, brother. We appreciate
thank you.
I think the only other thing that I would add is, I didn't dream of becoming mayor of Chicago. Yeah. I just knew that whatever work that I was going to do, it was going to have influence on thousands of people. Right. And so I thought I had the job of my dream, which was teaching social studies and reading. And then one thing led to another. And if you are able to think outside of the limitations that society places on you, if you think outside of those limitations, there really are no limits to where you can go. And so from teaching 7th graders at Cabrini Green and teaching at Westinghouse to running one of the largest economies in the world, it has more to do with being able to dream beyond even the purpose that's inside of you, but also making sure that you put no limitations on what's possible. Find your truth, find your happiness, and pursue it with everything that you've got.
Yeah. That's the fact. And you guys are from, let me tell you something, man. I travel all over the world. To be able to say you from Chicago means everything. You don't know it because you hear every day, but it carries a lot, And not just negativity. When people say, because my wife's from Chicago, everywhere we go, and they ask us where we from, they said, where y'all from? I said, Indiana. Oh, yeah. Hey, my wife's from, as soon as she say Chicago, their eyes get big. And we be in Europe, we be in places that's way out there. And if she say Chicago, they say, oh, what a great city. Beautiful city. And the people, I mean, some of the baddest people in the world came out of this city. You know, you don't know what people would do to be. I meet people all the time from other cities around here. They be saying they from Chicago. They be from Springfield, Joliet. Oh yeah, oh my God. And my wife say, "Where you from in Chicago?" They say, "Well, I'm not really from Chicago, but man, use this city, man. This city builds champions, and know that it's bigger than just Chicago. You can go anywhere in the world and reinvent yourself. People don't know you. They don't know your story. They don't know your mama. They don't know your daddy got killed. They don't know your friend died. They don't know your mom was on drugs. They don't know none of that. You can go to a place and become and start your own legacy. Right here, or you can go somewhere else and do it. But you guys have an opportunity. You are the future and you are the beginning of right now. If I could trade ages with you right now, woo, what I could do with an age like this. Man, y'all got the whole world in front of y'all. And like the mayor said, not only that, you have things that are advanced to help you now. You know, we didn't have those. I had to run to the phone booth and tell a girl, we ain't had no phone in the house. I said, call me in 10 minutes. I'm gonna be standing at the phone booth. Hello, this is me. Yeah. That's how we had to do. You know, to block somebody, you take the phone off the hook. I'm just telling you, boy, y'all got it made, man. Use it, man. Use it. Yeah, use it.
Okay, so since we're talking about Chicago, what are some of your significant memories in Chicago?
Some of my significant memories, going to Jewtown, and getting robbed when I was a kid. No. Some of my great, of course, I'm just down the road, so we've always went to the Taste of Chicago. We always went to all the events, the air show, so Chicago was always a big city for us. I'm from Indianapolis, so if you was going to Chicago, you had to get your clothes on and, woo, we're going to Chicago. So I've always loved Chicago, man. Garrett's popcorn, I'll do anything in the world for Garrett Bag popcorn. Man, I'll tell you, when I'm in the airport, I'll take all the popcorn back to LA and people love it. So man, it's a beautiful town, man. Some of my best comedians, some of my mentor comedians that I looked up, Bernie Mac from Chicago. You know what I mean? Some of the greatest artists in the world, man. So
I'm not sure if you're aware, but Shaka Khan, I know one of your favorite artists.
Man, Shaka Khan.
She's a Kenwood Bronco.
She went here?
Wow.
This school's been around a long time, then. Shaka Khan about 200 years old. Don't y'all tell her I said that. I heard what you said at that school about me the other day.
But I'm going to shift the focus a little bit to sports, Chicago sports and Indiana sports. So currently right now, the Bears are doing amazing.
Yeah.
As well as the Colts. So how do you feel about the Indianapolis Colts doing well this year?
Well, you know what, man? Sports is, I get excited, but I don't get excited because I've been let down too many times. So, when a team is really winning a lot like the Colts, I be excited, but I don't say nothing, man. The playoffs always tell it all. But I'm excited that they're winning. Happy for the Bears. You guys, I've been a fan of the Bears since Refrigerator Perry. You probably don't know who that is. But yeah, the Bears is one of them long-standing teams, man. It's been around a long time, man. Again, great sports history also in the city.
Yeah, I mean, between our two cities, growing up in the 90s, between Michael Jordan and, of course, course, Reggie Miller. Those were some classic times. The last time the Bears go to the Super Bowl, they happened to lose to the Colts, right? So that we have that trauma that we're still dealing with. You know, but one of the things I can say about Chicago, we are definitely a sports town, and there's no better representation of being a sports town than at Kenwood. Y'all good at everything.
Kenwood,
Soccer,
Broncos.
basketball, they got jousts.
This is sports
right?
school?
They do. Don't they do like ice skating here, skiing, or
Starting the ice hockey
Do
team.
they?
snowboarding?
Do they?
Whatever sport y'all have, y'all win here. So
We're working on ice hockey
What?
program.
So we about to get some black hockey players?
We're trying.
Oh, you starting something.
We're trying. Did, Javon, did you tell, Mr. Epps and Mayor Johnson what you got going tonight?
So tonight I'm booked up, unfortunately, but we got a Thanksgiving concert going on in the auditorium.
What?
Our concert choir, the one we were singing to you earlier, as well as the football championship, city championship.
That's
at the same
big,
time.
man. What time is that?
So the concert starts at 6:30 and the football game starts at 5 at Rockley Stadium.
Man, that's big, man. I'm proud of you, man. That's big, man.
what key do you sing?
I'm a tenor now.
You're a tenor.
I was a bass last year, though.
Okay, all right, that's what's up. You know, I
Start singing?
I got a little bit of tenor in me. Too,
You got a
though,
little
you know what I'm saying?
tenor.
Just a little bit of
God
tenor.
hit it, man.
You
God
know what
hit
I'm
it.
saying? I can break out a little something.
Little something. Hit him, man.
Yeah,
Come on, hit him.
listen, what time does this bell ring? We're rooting for you all tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
So we're gonna open up the questions to the floor. If you guys have some questions, we can come around. Any hands?
Turn into the Jennifer Hudson show now.
Yeah. We're gonna do 3 questions.
My name is Nisha. I'm a senior here. I just want to know, like, what's one thing that happened that you wish you could change, like, now?
I wish I would have listened a little bit more to my teachers and adults, because everything they told me came right back to me. It's like I heard, and when I became an adult, I heard all of my teachers' voices. I heard my parents' voices. When I was up against obstacles, I would hear their voices. I heard my teachers. I heard my parents. I'm like, wow, they told me this was gonna happen. And they told me how to deal with it. They told me that I needed to do this. So I wish I had to listen more, instead of having my own.
Yeah. I would agree with Mr. Epps here. It's when you reach our age, I'm just gonna be honest with you all, some of the experiences that you all are having right now that you feel like that experience has defined you, or even an embarrassing moment, most of the things that you all are experiencing, you're not gonna remember them. You're gonna remember situations, and I think that's what Mike is ultimately getting at. And so one thing that I know I wish I would have done more of was accepting the gifts and the form in which God created me in. And that I lived a life of a time of insecurity based upon people's standards who don't even know who they are. And so you don't want to, thank you there, clock that. He's just clocking with all the fingers. I don't think that's clocking it, Mike, but that's so trying to measure up to someone else's standards, that's fool's gold. The standard that has been designed in you, that is the most significant, highest standard ever created, because you are that standard.
Come on. I needed to hear that.
All right, one more question. One more question. I seen him with the gray hoodie hold his hand up first. Him right there. He shot his hand up.
My name is Alexander Gladunin. I have a question to you, Mayor President Johnson. So, really two questions, a little bureaucratic. Number one.
Okay, hold on a second now. You got two questions now? All right, go ahead.
They're mushed into one big. So, what are your powers as the mayor of the city, and how are city ordinances getting passed?
Wow, okay, he got real serious quick, didn't he?
Daddy told him to ask you that. Why don't you go in there and ask him this?
Since you're here, what do you do, Mr. Mayor? I have to work on my stand-up routine. No, listen, that's a good question. And I think just real quick, going back to what Mike was saying, you all have access to so much information, and I hope that you all become a more informed electorate. And you have the ability to do that. When I ran for mayor, I won by 26,532 votes. Here's the key though. There were 27,000 new voters who voted in April of 23 that did not vote in February of 23, and they were all under the age of 34. So in other words, young people are the reason why I'm mayor of Chicago today. So I have executive order to do a couple of things. One, I could set policy, ordinances, right? And that's anything from, how we generate revenue, like your taxes with certain limitations, to policies of how we do economic development, right? To make business move faster. Or policies like you may have heard, the city council was trying to pass a curfew policy, particularly for downtown areas. Though they passed that, I had the executive authority to veto it. So in other words, if city council does something that I think is irresponsible, I have executive authorities to draw a line through it and say you can't do that. And the only way that they can override that authority is if they get 34 votes to override it. But I set policy, I oversee and preside over city council, and anything from, again, from revenue ideas to actual policies that deal with public education. So for instance, I have the executive authority to declare a TIP surplus, which TIP dollars sit in a bank, essentially, that spawns economic development. I have the authority to say, you know what, we're gonna take those dollars and we're gonna put them back into our public institutions, of which I just done that. And $500 million will go back into our public schools because I have that authority to do that, and I think it's important.
I want to thank you guys so much for spending the afternoon with us, even if it was just for a brief moment.
Thank you.
You two are nothing short of amazing. And yeah, thank you all so much for coming to our
Hey, let's
studio.
give it up for our
Thank you, guys.
moderators. Give it up.
Give it up for them, y'all. Come on, y'all. Thank you, guys.
Okay, Broncos, it's time to go to class. Yeah, they're about to. I think that's why they so. Sorry. Guess what?
Hey, oh, we ain't got no food not in the camera.
Everyone, if you would like to be in a photo, just gather in as close as you can.